The hecklers are stalking the pollies.
We're going to see more of this as the campaign kicks off proper, which is good, because heckling actually makes things interesting.
No Liberal votes. You're out, son. You are out. Good night,
Australia.
Pauline, you must leave our state. Enough racists to hear already.
The heckler in the headlines at the moment is an older gent who faced up to Scott Morrison at a pub in Newcastle.
You said when you got elected last time, we're going to help all those people that worked all their lives, paid their taxes, and those that have a go will get a go.
Correct. Now, put yourself in ScoMo's shoes here. In your mind, you're thinking this.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
But there are cameras everywhere, so you got to hear the bloke out.
You better do something. I don't care.
Well, the people pay his salary, so they should be able to ask him questions.
Yeah, you can do it with some manners, though. Morrison walked away, which got old mate even angrier.
I'm sick of you.
We all are, mate, but screaming in the pub is probably not the best way to get your point across. Morrison handled it as well as any politician could, certainly better than Bob Hawke when he was accosted by an angry pensioner in 1989. Hawke called him a silly old bugger, which pissed off Australia's seniors no end. Who's laughing now? Shut up! And became an unnecessary distraction for Bob, who had more important things on his mind. Morrison knows that getting abused by Grandpa Simpson is better than getting egged, as happened a couple of years ago. He was, again, relatively composed back then and even managed to crack a gag, you see what I did there, afterwards.
Pardon the pun, but I don't want to over-egg this thing.
That was a very different reaction to right-wing MP Fraser Anning when he got Humpty Dumptied in 2019. Fraser channelled a bit of Frasier and delivered two swift and, I got to say, pretty clean left jabs. That was straight out of the 20-year-old playbook of British politician John Prescott. John's jab wasn't as crisp as Fraser's, so the delighted British press were treated to front row seats at one of the worst street fights in modern history. 10 years later, British Conservative leader David Cameron was also egged, and even Arnold copped one. This was after becoming Governor of California.
It's always an egg.
Not always. That was a shoe at George Bush, and that was a sandwich at Julia Gillard.
Oh, I think must have thought I was hungry.
Yeah, there's hecklers and then there's abuse.
Do you remember Tony Abbott getting headbutted in 2017?
Yeah.
The guy who did it, Astrolabe, clearly had Lionel Hutz as his defence lawyer because after first providing motive, not once,
I'm never going to get the opportunity to headbutt that again.
But twice,
I hate Tony Abbott.
He made it clear he was suffering from neither cognitive distortion,
I was thinking, there's Tony Abbott, I'm going to headbutt him.
Nor cognitive contrition.
Apparently I didn't get him well enough.
Even Mark McGowan is copping it.
Or interrupting a McGowan press conference is now an official West Australian pastime.
Economic activity as well, and I'd expect that teaching a responsible...
The latest person seeking their 5 seconds of fame apparently comes from Midland.
I'm just a local resident. Thank you for coming to my neck of the woods. I've got a tough question.
Hang on. Right, sorry, we can't... No.
This bloke kept saying he had a question.
I've got a tough question. Are you up for it?
I'm absolutely up for it.
But couldn't bring himself to actually ask it.
I'm absolutely up for it, yeah.
Asking a question can be hard.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Albo and McGowan were at pains to be polite.
I'm here to do a press conference for the press. Well, we can chat with you afterwards, mate.
Thanks. Happy to have a chat afterwards, mate.
They were channeling Barack Obama.
It's not time for questions, sir.
But really wanted to take a leaf out of Ronnie's book.
Oh, shut up.
Or someone else's.
Who the do you think you're talking to?
Hey, I've got a question. What was the question?
We don't know. There are like a dozen journos there and nobody asked him. He could have said something that changed the course of the election.
Wouldn't have happened in the western suburbs.
Well, it's getting pretty feisty in the Golden Triangle. The battle for the Conservative stronghold of Curtin has sandwiched one of WA's establishment families, the Cheneys, in between two other establishment families, the Hancocks and the Holmes Courts. The seat is held by Liberal Celia Hammond. She should be a shoo-in to win because the Libs have held Curtin almost constantly since 1949. But Hammond is now facing a serious contender in independent candidate Kate Chaney, Kate is daughter of St Michael, he of Wesfarmers fame, and granddaughter of Fred Chaney Sr., a long-serving Liberal MP and former Lord Mayor of Perth. Kate's running on a climate change ticket, which is ironic given her father was chair of Woodside Petroleum, and she enjoys the support of the Holmes Accords. Simon Holmes Accord, who is son of Janet and Robert, is throwing megabucks at Kate's campaign through his activist group Climate 200. He's given her $170,000. Kate's other supporters also have deep pockets, which Kate will find herself in if and when she wins the seat.
You scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours.
The owner of the deepest pockets in Australia, Gina Reinhardt, is less convinced about the urgency of climate change, so probably isn't keen on Kate getting a Guernsey. She made her views clear last year during the 125th anniversary celebrations at her old school St Hilda's. Organisers thought they'd get a 5-minute video address extolling how great the school is, but ended up with a 16-minute sermon in which Australia's richest person unloaded about climate change propaganda, railed against socialism and quoted Margaret Thatcher at length. She was particularly angry at being told students had been forced to watch Al Gore's documentary, An Inconvenient Truth.
The most vulnerable part of the Earth's ecological system is the atmosphere.
Those views were seized upon by the hardened political operatives at the Peppermint Grove branch of the Liberal Party's Curtin division, who hatched a plan to get Gina's support.
Oh, she'd love it! Great, I won't be late.
She spoke at a fundraiser which was billed as a one-off, prestigious event.
But listen, you've got to come in for a glass of Sauv Blanc, okay?
It's high stakes for the Libs because they know if they lose Curtin, they've lost the election. And being in opposition sucks eggs. I'm Ben Harvey. For more update, click the subscribe button below.